all. Episode 4 of the Code Brew Project's conversations. It was very interesting to know that we have a lot of folks and even for our past interviewees na medyo interesting talaga yung function nila in terms of their lifestyle and at the same time sa contribution nila over to the craft that we are doing, may that be in music, painting, um, poetry, writing books, filming, and a lot of stuff. So it's very universal siya, no, universal siya, no? Because of the wide range of really creative people around you. So the best part siguro that I learned is the influence that these people are giving us, and not just with the craft that you're doing, but at the same time the impact they actually give you in your daily lives. It was really interesting to know. So very much appreciative ako sa mga tao na behind the successes that we have been encountering, regardless of the struggles of a starting artist. No, we get to be consistent about the goals and at the same time get better at it in time. So thank you for the people who inspired each and every one of us to do our craft. And this episode, siguro, we're just gonna do more shout outs because I've had uh, pretty much a good conversation with most people that I encountered within this week or even last week. No, so shout out to Sinners Kartel clothing. A good friend of mine actually sold this to me. It was really good. Um, Shirt is really fine. A pro club inspired shirt. So spot that. I'll include the link to their page in the description in YouTube. Also, I would like to give a special shout out as well to Doc Panda, Aurelio, for meeting me. I guess that was yesterday or the day before yesterday. We had a good talk. We had a good conversation. We finally met. Thank you, Doc, for the opportunity, and at the same time for the time you've spent as well, talking about where you started. So I don't want to ask a lot of questions sa meet up because I want to reserve those questions over when we get you on board's episode. And stay tuned for Doc Aurelio and Doc Panda. He gave me a book, a kaiju book that he actually wrote. I think it's here with me. One sec. So the book itself is really inspiring. No, so what you can see here, guys. So this is Kaiju Double Barrel by Aurelio Rico Lopez the third. I haven't read it yet, but I really find it interesting as well. Um, the book covers are amazing. I mean, the art covers from Den Shaw, the one we interviewed um, for episode 2. No, he made some covers as well for Doc, and this one I think the cover art is from Elden Ardiente of Lunga Creatives. So spot this as in your you can actually reach out to Doc Panda if you wanted to score one of these books. So very interesting, and he'll be part of the episode. I believe episode 6 for conversation. So mark your calendars. That's most likely gonna air um, on July 24th. And a very interesting one that we're gonna have for the next episode. I know that we are focusing sa episode 4, but uh I really appreciate, and I was really honored that one of our special guests for episode 5 is pretty much very much a very interesting person in terms of music and hip hop. His contribution was indeed remarkable. He paved his way from Iloilo to Manila, and he's still keeping it in the roots. He's still keeping it um, from where he was born, and it's very interesting to know these things from him. Who this artist would be? It's a secret for now, but I'll actually share a teaser video of who might that be. He's actually one of the most influential person in the hip hop history. So watch out for that. But then again, mga tol, we are actually going to interview, or let's say we're gonna have a conversation with one of my good friends as well. So for episode 4, we will be um, we will actually be talking to one of the gurus of software development. Right, it's very interesting to know. I don't know anything about software development. I just wanted to know exactly how he started, how he actually got good with it. Um, he was also a former chapter head of DevCon Iloilo. He was senior software developer. Also, he was actually a game developer, and at the same time, he was an IT instructor. So, without further much ado, I would like to welcome episode 4, Mr. Jingo Rodriguez. Hey, sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, all good, sir. All good, all good, all good.
Great. Yes. So, thank you for accepting the invite. Um, I got
Yes.
good. I got good. Shares actually. So when I sent the teaser,
Yeah, yeah,
video,
yeah.
got some good friends as well, and we both know,
Mhm.
who's actually excited for the episode. But anyway,
Oh,
thank you for accepting the invite. So how's everything been? What makes you busy nowadays, ba?
um, first of all, sir, thank you, yeah, and also the
Of
invite. No?
course.
Yeah. So far, what makes me busy? Most of the time, hawak ko ngayon yung schedule. Yeah.
Good.
I have,
Nice.
yeah. So I have flexi hours. So I can work anytime, but I prefer working during morning and late evening and siguro afternoons at most cases. Also a couple of side hustles.
Hmm.
And also I've been into crypto recently.
Oh yeah, that's
Crypto
interesting.
trading.
That's
Yeah,
interesting
yeah,
topic, no? I don't have an
yeah.
idea about it, so we might as well cover that later. But anyway,
Sure, no problem.
you're still working from home, correct?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Bali, the setup is I could work anywhere as long as I have my own computer and internet.
Here. Mm-hmm.
And I just attend the meeting, specified time meeting, and then that's good. That should be okay.
Mm. So
Um,
that's interesting, no? I mean, the cryptocurrencies is also one of the hottest topic nowadays sa internet when you get to throw a
yeah.
lot of posts. So yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, I've gone through your works. I reviewed some of it. No, even when we
Yeah.
were actually working together,
Oh,
I know you've had you hold some of the conventions with regards to software development. So I guess
yeah, with it.
before we get into the pretty obvious na conversation of how you
Mm.
get with that part of your career. Now,
Uh-huh.
what was the first convention you hold with regards to software development, the very first?
When you mean by hold is organized
Organized,
or
yes.
as a just a participant? Well, when we say organized, the first thing I think was DevCon Iloilo. here, of course, here in Iloilo. Yeah, the
Yeah.
first summit. Yeah, the first summit tech event. Yeah, that's the first tech event software convention that me and my friends in the chapter that we organized. That was way back 2017, I guess, or 2018, somewhere there.
I see.
But before that, we had me and my couple of friends. We had a. It all started with. I'm not sure if you heard about the cosplay before in Robinsons, the cosplay events.
No, only Comic Con. But I've heard
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah.
I've heard
Yeah, it
about
all
it.
started with Comic Con. It all started with Comic Con. A couple of friends in Comic Con, and then
Mm,
it grew to another. I forgot the name of the cosplay fest. Yeah, I think that's
mm,
cosplay fest. And then the 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 way it's supposed to happen is supposed to be a tech type event,
mm,
not cosplay. But along the way, it was side railed to cosplay.
mm.
Then from
With
there,
tech.
yeah, yeah. But it was major on cosplay from that point.
I see.
And and then and me and my friends, something along the road did not work out.
Mm,
So because it's not tech anymore, because we want tech stuff, we want to promote tech in Iloilo. But the problem with that, it did not. So me and my friend again, we tried to create a tech group. The first name that we have before DevCon Iloilo, we created a tech here. It's like Panay tech enthusiasting. But
mm.
then I found DevCon in Manila. I was searching for
Okay.
for
I see.
yeah. Then they said they want they we can allow chapters to be created in different places in Philippines. And I said, wow, what are the
Do you need
what are the
permission
requirements?
to
Yeah.
branch out? Do you need
Mhm.
permission from the main?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the main is so big because it was founded by Winston de Marillo. He's like
Mm,
big shot in Manila when it comes to tech stuff.
mm. He went
So
he
yeah,
went here as well when you did the
no,
DevCon. Okay.
no. Only the DevCon, what do they call this, chairman or president, which was
Mm,
appointed, which is Haifa. So Haifa went in Iloilo and then viewed the event, and then attended the event as well.
mhm,
So yeah, that's how we started. Then I think it was the requirements was very strict
mm,
because they want we have this code camps and campus tour. They want in campus tour. They want around a couple. How many students for that? 1,000 students.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
we need to in a couple of months. Me
Yes.
and my friend Jet, we had to come up with schools um, that would cater 1,000. Then we talked with Haifa. They said it's okay if you could just sum it all up. So we had around
Mm,
three schools that we went. I think the first one was University of Iloilo.
mm,
Then interface with, I think, and then we went around Panay. We went with UP also, UP Mayag-Ao, yeah,
mm, mm,
and San Agustin also, University of San Agustin.
mhm.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
think that's
And from the DevCon itself, were you the founder of the chapter here, or like you really
yeah,
started it?
yeah. Me and my friend started it. Me and Jet started it way back
Mm,
2017. Um, I found it out in Manila. Then we contacted DevCon Manila
mhm,
on how or the process to acquire a chapter here in Manila. And now I think I'm still part of the group, except that I don't want to do the most hectic stuff,
mm.
which is the chairman and chapter head right now. So we assigned it to we voted out with different people. Right now, I
Mhm.
think it was Elisa right now. Yeah.
If you have to summarize the DevCon, what usually are the topics that you guys are covering?
Actually, me and my friend Jet, we started with topics with Java, Git, PHP. Only the topics that we are like master of, not yeah,
Mm,
kind of master of, rather than you pick topics that you're not sure of. That's quite sketchy. So we don't
mm,
want to do that. We don't want to fool people around. So we pick topics that are best suitable of our skills. So yeah, PHP, Java, software development. I had a topic way back about mobile and React and Git also as well,
mhm.
and a couple of HTML basics at some point.
Okay, that's interesting because I always got this question in my head as always because of course you
Mm-hmm.
know me I don't know anything about software
Yeah, yeah,
development
yeah, yeah.
now, and I find it very uh complicated. Of course,
Mhm.
because I that's not my major. I find it very
Uh-huh.
complicated. Na you have to go through a lot of codes and you have to go through a lot of interface and
Yeah,
applications.
yeah, yeah.
And also, this is a very, it might sound like a very stupid question, no? Pero what's the difference of programming versus software development?
Programming is just like software development is a very, very big topic.
Mm,
It's very, very big. Programming is just part of software development. So it's
I
just a piece
see.
of the pie.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Okay. When you do programming, you type in code, right? That's a bit of programming. Okay. Software development, you need to do technical analysis first, business analysis, client requirements, risk analysis. You need to do those stuff. Then those are part of the analysis stage. Then you have the planning stage, wherein you do wireframing. So if you have a bunch of teams, you have a UI UX guy person that does for the uh, that lays out the wireframes on how the app should go and what's gonna happen after you press a certain button.
I
Okay,
see.
that's where UI UX people goes. That doesn't have a code yet. It's just a workflow or a what do you call this flow chart.
Oh, Chad. Mhm.
Yeah, and then you put that into wireframes. So and then from that, you show it to the client. That's yeah. If you're going for a scope of software development, because software development is a very very big scope. So then from that you have developers, coders. So there's a difference between developer and coder. But based on my understanding, coder is the one just writes the code, just,
Mm,
just really writes the code. It doesn't have to think about what needs to deal with the process. Well, the developer, he's like a bit of all around type because developers is just usually instructs the coder what needs to be coded, while developer is like he does PA's technical analysis or business analysis,
mhm.
and then we talk to clients, diba? So based on our experience, I talk to you, you tell me your requirements, and then we lay out the interface, then show it to you again, right? And then from there, if you say this is good, looks good, okay, we put it back for coding ready.
Mhm.
Then we go back to you again, and then we have a sign off if it's good or not. If it's
And
good,
that's
then
mhm.
we do a couple of testings, beta, alpha testing. Once it reached that cycle and you said it's good, then we release it in production.
I see.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
it's
that's
it.
how.
So yeah, now I understand the scope of support and the scope of work of a software developer now from in a nutshell now basically from those
Yeah, yeah,
steps versus programming as like a piece of it. And you being I've known you for years now, and I really haven't got to know your background really in
yeah.
software
Okay.
development as a whole. How did you start, and how long have you been working in this career?
Actually, well, ever since I was in, actually, I started all when I was in elementary. No. So I was
Mm.
playing with DOS, the black
How
screen.
old how old were you that back then?
Um, Elementary, grade school.
So you were playing
So
with DOS already back in the day.
yeah. The
Wow, okay.
DOS commands, and I was intrigued, and I said, I want to build my own game next time when I grew up.
Mm.
So after that, I tried to study about computers, curious about the history of people that creates it. Then I found Bill Gates. Oh, he's a tech billionaire.
Mm.
Then from there, I said, okay, I'll pursue this thing. From that, high school, I had C and Visual Basic, and also Flash. So I had those in my arsenal already as skill set, but um, only a bit. I don't master what's the use of such code yet before. So when in college, um, C++ and C came, then I tried to create my own. I was a bit of a what do you call this term? Bad guy way back because I used to create
Mm.
viruses way back. I tried to create viruses and malwares, but it's for my own curiosity.
Ah, I
Not
see.
I never released it in public. So
Yeah.
what my usually first virus did was it's gonna flicker your screen. It's gonna your screen would be switched off, switch on, switch off, switch on,
Mm.
and your mouse is not with all this. You can't even use your
Responsive.
mouse.
I see.
Yeah, your mouse will just move around on its own, and that's what I did
Mm.
way back. And it was really fun to create such stuff way back. And yeah, from there, I was into it and super curious with it. And then when I was in fourth year, I had my first programming job. I was One of my professors gave me a thesis work by one of his clients, so I I work on it around 2 to 3 days, 2 days non-sleep because I was excited to
Wow.
finish it in a very short time. I was really excited to finish it in a very short time. And then that's where I learned, oh, I wrote 1,000 lines of code, but I could write it in just uh, more. Right now, I could just write that in just like 100 lines instead of 1,000 lines. So that was way back college, right? So then I was also into several um, programming competitions way back. I think in college I won one once in computer design, web design.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there, I was offered one of my professors, which is also my friend right now. Um, he what do you call this? He got me a gaming job, software game development job for I think 2 years or 1 year at most. So I was creating that game. I can't tell you the game by the way because it's
It's confidential.
confidential. Yeah,
Sure.
because
Is it copyrighted by someone by like, or not copyrighted, but rather owned by?
yeah. It's owned by somebody,
Okay.
so I don't wanna because it's not
I
mine. I
see.
just work for them.
Right,
So yeah.
right. I understand. Yeah, I understand. Mm.
Then from that point, I said, wow, it's fun creating those kind of stuff. Then from there, that's my first what do you call this? Not my first, but second programming job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, I after graduation, I teach and I used to do I teach part time in University of San Agustin, and also I was a web developer in a company here in Pavia way back. Also, I had a couple of side hustles. That was game development was one of them, and then I had also to create mobile, what do you call this, mobile development as
Games.
well. So yeah, I
Mm.
had a couple of side hustles way back. Sleep was nothing to me way back.
Yes, I
Yeah,
understand.
sleep. So I was hustling to gain more knowledge because I was
Mm.
super curious about stuff, right? So way back, um, my friends would ask me out. I would decline them to some point,
Mm.
just to finish my deadlines and study and learn stuff. So from there, um, then I had a gaming job, and what do you call this? A remote gaming job in the US.
Mm.
Okay, so I was hired as a game developer. It's for educational games, so we create educational flash games, and then from there, I s- I stopped. What do you call this? I went after that to Avatar.
Mm. Yeah, that's where
Yeah, yeah,
I knew about
yeah,
you
yeah.
back in Avatar.
But in Avatar, I wasn't one of the software guys yet. I was just designing web pages for the website, and
I see.
then
Okay.
yeah,
Was it
then
really a full time work already, or just a side
actually,
hustle?
my idea before with BPO, I don't want to work with BPO. That was my mindset before. Then I think, wait, okay, they said you're gonna create a website. Sounds cool. Then
Yes.
the owner, right? The owner,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
uh, during my interview, he interviewed me first. Then he said, "Okay, this guy is gonna be one of my bosses next time." Yeah. Then from there, from marketing department as a web designer, I moved up 3 months later. I think it was 3 months later. Yeah, 3 months later to the software because one of the software guys is leaving
Mm.
the company, so I had to
Take over.
yeah take over. Then it was actually very exciting and, and scary that time for me because I need to absorb at least most of the knowledge in a span of 2 weeks. Because
Go.
it's like, yeah, it's like 2 weeks. So my boss said, if you can't do it in 2 weeks, you're bye bye.
You're fired.
Yeah. And I said, oh shit. Then
Yeah.
when I went there, um, I said, wow, this is like cool. Because I was with the discussion guy beside me, and and then his name is similar to an actor's name.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I
And
remember him. I remember
yeah,
him. Was he
yeah.
really
I
good in software development?
actually, yeah, he is. But he's not really coding
Mm.
software with me. He's doing more on the system administration side,
I see.
networks, the servers, and stuff like that. Just using maybe most probably working on as a system engineer or system DevOps.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Maintains the server, maintains the network, and stuff like that. So from there, I was working with him, and side by side because we have just have one office way back then. Um, my boss said we need a couple of devs uh, to hasten the speed of development because I was the only guy that's gonna code.
Doing the coding.
Yeah. I was the only guy that we had a couple of people more, couple more people here in the Philippines to be added. Then from there, he added a couple of people from Russia
To
to
help
work
out.
with.
Mm.
Yeah. And then from there, it came to a point that um, it was really good there. Came to a point that I need to leave the company at some point in Avatar. Because
Mm.
for me, it came to a point that the I think all the knowledge that I got from there is already on its maximum peak.
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
Understood.
I was there for around almost 4 years. Yeah, almost 4 years. Then it came to a point that I think, yeah, I need to
So before
leave.
it became voiceless,
Mhm.
you're already out of the company now.
I'm still there.
You were still part of it when they transitioned to voiceless. Ah, okay.
Yeah, I
All
was
right.
there. I think they transitioned May. I left after that December.
So you know the Drake
Yeah, I know that
Abad.
trick. Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
yes. We were at one office at one point, so
Mm.
we share one office way back.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we talk about most probably PS4 games way back.
Okay.
Yeah,
So is ano eh, the journey with Avatar as well is interesting. Eh. for the both of us, because yeah, of
Yeah.
course I was employed there back way back, and that's when I knew about the IT team, the help desk team there,
Yeah. Yeah.
you and the rest of the gang there. So that's why when we got into FTO, when I heard your name, it's like, yeah, it's very familiar. So that's when I realized, okay, yeah, his Jingo back in Avatar as well. So after that, after you left Voiceless, you got hired by in a different company, or this is before FTO, right?
Yeah, before FTO, I was a freelance consultant. Also,
Mm.
I had a startup. Me and my friend had a startup, a tech startup, not a tech travel tech startup, but sadly didn't work out due to some issues in the US. Because we're just a startup. Then I think it's a good thing that it didn't work out. I guess because of COVID, because we're a travel company, and
Oh
right,
yeah, it got canceled
this
because of the
is yeah,
COVID.
no, no, yeah, yeah. I think it got canceled around 2018,
I
uh,
see.
2017, I think, or 2018, somewhere there.
Mm.
It got canceled along the way. So from that point, after that, um, I was just basically a consultant. Um, I think one of the uh, BPO companies here also hired me as their consultant. Forget the name. Somewhere in Delgado, there's a BPO
Mm.
there. Forgot the name.
There's a BPO there. I know. I think it was it ano, through Alliant or no?
No, no, no,
No,
no. It's not
no,
through
no.
Alliance. Because through Alliance, I think we both know who wants to Alliance,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yes.
We both
Yeah,
know who wants to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
It's not
thought
through
you
Alliance.
were okay. Okay, all right,
It's
got it.
it's the other one, the company he was in before to Alliance, I guess. Forget
I
the
see.
name.
Accent
Yeah,
line, no.
I think that's it. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but
yeah,
basically on that, but I'm
yeah.
not sure. Yeah, so I was their consultant, fixing
For how long?
just a couple of months, just a
Mm-hmm.
couple of months, because because yeah, yeah, I think it was accent like this. It's just a couple of months because uh um something changed along the way, and then
Mm-hmm.
there were because this, I think, when was that? 2000. Was it,
Mm-hmm.
no, yeah, I think this was around 2018, 2017. Uh, Also, I was also a part-time consultant. No, yeah, I was a full-time consultant in another company. Just forgot the name again. So I just like a developer there. A
BPO. It's also a BPO company, right?
uh, no, it's I'm not sure if it's a PPO or an ITO. I'm not sure.
Mm.
Somewhere in between, because they do handle calls for medical people.
Mm.
Yeah, and then they do software development as well. So I just had
Mm.
a what about this, mm, a consulting job with them. So the thing is with that, it didn't work out because with that as well. It didn't work out with that because my my job description doesn't fit with the job that the guy is giving me, because I was also a sales rep selling uh, houses.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah,
That's a mess.
yeah. I was like creating the website, then I have
You're
to do
selling house.
sales. Eh, It's not. Yeah, yeah. It's like hiring for brokers or sales agent.
Mm. Is
Yeah,
it appraisals or real
something
estate?
like
No.
that.
Mm.
Something like that. And then I said, I'm supposed to code, not sell.
Right.
Yeah,
Correct.
so I was like, doing back office work, and I have to code, then I have a deadline, and I said, okay, this is not really gonna work out because at some point of the day,
Mm.
I can't code because I have to stress out on how to make a save.
Agreed. You have a
And
quota. You have quota to meet ba as well.
that's what he said. That was the guy said. You have to meet at some point of this. Like, oh, crap.
That that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the guy told me, it's not gonna work out. Yeah, of course not gonna work
It's
out.
not definitely it's not gonna work out.
Yeah,
You
don't you
don't
can't.
that's the ano I think it's also the reality of BPO industry. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying everyone
Yeah.
but most of the utilization of resources at times they
Mhm.
kind of stretch it
Yeah,
to
yeah,
those who they think they can actually that can work. In fact,
yeah.
but in fact, these are not the scope of support that these people
Mhm.
are hired for.
Yeah,
So
true.
I think utilizing and maximizing resources for them is different, and
Yeah,
they tend to stretch it out into and it's at some point I would say na these are all set up for failure. You cannot
yeah, yeah.
just have someone be like someone like jack of all trades.
Yeah, it can never be
Right.
like that.
I mean,
Oh,
we have
yeah.
our own expertise. So we have our own forte as well.
Mhm.
That's and after that, you ventured fast forward then FTO, correct?
Yeah, actually, what happened with FTO is I was having this decision between because there are two companies that wants to hire me. One is
Mm-hmm.
FTO, one is the one in Manila. I forgot the name. CloudStaff. Not sure if you heard of
Mm.
CloudStaff. Yeah. So um, I think I had to make a decision between if I'm gonna go to Manila and work there or
Mm.
here in Iloilo. Because if I go in Manila, I'm gonna lose my local connections. That's what I think.
Oh, I see. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. It's different if you have a local connections, then you
Mm-hmm.
can have more time-based clientele, right? So from there, I said, okay, let's try. I'll try to negotiate with the person there in charge. So I said, okay, why not we go with that? Then she said, fine, okay, cool. Then from that, the rest was history with FEO.
Mm-hmm.
I think my
Great.
first day was very fun, very exciting. It's about the biometric thing. I have
Oh
to solve
yes,
this. Yeah, 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 yeah. I
the
have to
code and
solve the. Yeah, yeah. I have to solve this problem that they had a couple of weeks already or months.
mm.
Then luckily I managed to solve it in a day. Then one of the guys said, "You will you'll get coffee if you solve this." I said, "Oh, free coffee on my first day. Not bad."
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, so being with that career path, more or less, let's say around 10 years or so, right?
yeah, yeah. Around 10 years or so.
Overall, right?
Mhm.
You've also created gaming applications or
Mhm.
like developed games, right? If
Yeah,
you have to choose the best, I think by far that you created, what was that, and what kind of concept you have in mind when you actually started creating that kind of project?
actually, it's very interesting because that one concept went overdrive. The one I built in
Mm,
FPO.
I see.
Yeah, because that thing, it's because remember the first system that FTO has
Mm-hmm.
the lousy interface,
Mm-hmm.
not the one that the company is paying for before.
Right.
Yeah, because after the one that they were paying for before that was cut off, and then immediately transitioned to this application that is so old at some point.
Mm-hmm.
The code is old, legacy code at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to maintain. It comes to interface wise and user experience wise. So it was around. We had that system around 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Then Mike came, right? Then went
Mm-hmm.
there. Then said, okay, it's the previous the current system is super buggy sometimes, right? We had some issues and stuff like that, and that's where me and Mike had a talk about it. Then it blew me away. Then my brain went overdrive on what I need to do. Then I had just had around, let me check how many people I had. Around 4 or 5 people to work with.
Mm, I see.
So I conceptualized a framework that is scalable enough for developers to use,
Mm,
that they could build it in a very short amount of time. So from that, I think we just had around 1 month to build everything, to make it very useful with the
wow.
attendance and everything, stuff like that.
Mm-mm.
And then from that, we had it around. I do remember it was around when we started around April. Then we released it around June, first week of June, and everything. I think um, it was usable for a couple of years, I guess.
Mm. That's good. How do you choose your people? Right? Because
Uh,
when you do ano based on experience and
uh,
me being with the quality team,
uh,
there are specific specifications. I look for people na
mhm.
I would say na okay, you're fit for my team.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how do you look for those kind of people to work with you?
Of course, first of all, you have to work with people you feel comfortable with first, right?
Mhm.
You don't want to work with people you're not comfortable with, because that's going to cause issues, especially in software development. Especially if this guy, in software development, if you're working in a team and you're achieving one goal, you need to have one. All of you guys should have a synchronized mindset. If not,
Mhm.
it will fail. On if you have very tight deadline, it will fail, right? So from that, you need to have daily meetings and see if one of your guys can really cope up with the deadlines and stuff like that. Okay, for me to choose people, he needs to be honest at some point. He needs to be reliable, right? So when it comes to um, what do you call this, deadlines, or
Mhm.
let's say one of your code crashes, you have to man it up or be responsible enough to say, yeah, I fucked this up. I'm gonna work on this. I will not
Mhm.
go home till this is finished. At some point, those kind of cases. Because if you go home in a very crucial moment and you have to leave the team, I mean, let's say um, your shift ends at 7, and let's say I have a meeting around 8, and you push your code and
Mm,
you
yeah.
touch the server code also, since you have access to it. Then you left it hanging and you went home. You said, I'll just work on it tomorrow. No, that's a very bad mindset. You don't have to wait for tomorrow because you touched it now, right? If you want to
Mhm.
go home early, you should have
Finished
not
it
touched it.
and
Yeah, yeah. Either tell the team that you're not gonna touch it now. You're gonna think about it a couple of times before you touch it again,
I see. Okay.
right? Right.
Mm.
So you have if you have this kind of people, I think these are not fit people. The mindset that I'm gonna work this. I'm not gonna finish this today. I'm gonna finish it
Mm.
tomorrow. You're not gonna if you're touching a server and you know that there is a deadline between the day, and that needs to be checked later on by your superiors. You have to
Mm.
make sure that one of your work is working and it's not gonna crash, right? Because you don't want to present something buggy to your client.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Present something
right.
half baked, so it's not really
Yeah, or something. Present something that's already working. Then you touch something that it didn't work, right?
yeah.
So that's what some scenarios that happen
Mm.
that I learned. Then from that, the person wasn't really fit, you know.
Mm.
And then you have to actually cut them through the interview first, interview
Mm.
process. Then see if he's qualified or not, and see if he's what do you call this? I forget the term. People that tell they know this, but they don't actually know this.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, there's a couple of that in the IT field. You just tell, yeah, I know that. But when you're actually working it, you still have no. Then you just tell one of the guys, I still have no idea what I'm doing. That's very scary.
You're right.
Yeah,
So
we had a couple.
how do you avoid getting those type of people? Do you have them test a certain code bab before you hire them or You just
During
hire.
that time, they were there already. I wasn't the guy who was hiring. I wasn't.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, so I had no say. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I could say something, but it's not my obligation to
Mm-hmm.
hire, because I was just a what way back probationary, so
Right.
I don't have a say yet regarding that, and it doesn't fit my JD about it way back.
Mm-hmm.
So from that, when I took the spot already, then um, I managed to test the people, the people that are in me, with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I test them if they can really, do the thing or not. I'm gonna
Right.
give them a couple of tries. Then if it doesn't work, you have to go. You don't have to waste my time or your time, right? I mean,
Definitely.
yeah, I don't want you to go overtime, because you wanna work on this overtime, but you can have someone to work on it within what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I honestly have that kind of time.
Mm-hmm.
It took 2 weeks, but one of the guys can do it in what, 10 minutes, right?
Wow. And I know how complicated coding is. Do you really memorize all of those lines, spacing and whatnot, or it's just like
No,
automatic? Oh,
no, you
okay.
don't memorize. You don't memorize. You can't memorize a whole book. There's a whole book, a bunch of them with different versions. You don't memorize.
So how do you like
Actually,
do that? Like how to stick?
actually, it's all about pseudocode. If you know how to place the code, you know the semantics, you know the basic structure, the basic wireframing of code placement.
Uh,
If you know how to do that, I mean, one of the best thing about programming is you know how to set instructions, to write instructions. Because if you know how to write instructions, you can do code.
mm-mm.
You don't memorize the whole book. I honestly don't memorize the whole thing. The whole thing. I just memorize the terminologies used in it. For example, when I want to get a set of numbers
Mm-hmm.
and 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 chop them up in bits by bits. So you have to create what, a sorting algorithm that would chop them up. Then you create a pattern or a formula about it and how to do
Mm.
it at some point. Yeah, you don't have to memorize the whole book. Okay, the worst thing you could do is you memorize the whole book and you wrote it and that doesn't work. Then that's where you question why it doesn't work.
All
The
right.
best thing is you question yourself why it doesn't work and you do your research.
I
Because
see.
I have this way back in college. I have this teacher, professor. No, no, it's teacher. I won't mention names. I won't mention her name
Mm.
because she said, copy this book and type it in your computer. That's the only thing she said. Only thing she said. Then when we wrote it in the computer, guess what? It doesn't work. Because the thing why it doesn't work, it's because you have to understand about the version of the machine, the version of your library, if it's the same with the book. The problem is
Mm.
that the book is using .NET, C++ .NET, while we have here is a Turbo C, which is the old school of, it's a different library and different
Mm.
functions and stuff like that built into it. Okay, so you can't really copy the whole thing unless you can modify stuff in the library. Once you can modify stuff in the library, yeah, you can copy the whole thing. But from that point, I saw people just copying the whole book, then present it to the teacher and it doesn't work. And I said, that's not good, right?
Mhm.
Because it doesn't work, right? So it's just like copy paste. No, actually, you
Mhm.
can copy paste. Some of us in the field do copy paste, but we know how to place it. We know where to
Or
place it
where to
and what
place it and okay.
and what to change in the code itself,
Mhm.
right? But if you just copy paste and doesn't understand bits by bits of what you copied,
Yes.
you won't go anywhere. Okay. Because
Mm.
I tried way back. I tried to master just certain language way back, which is my favorite language. It's ActionScript 3.0. I'm not sure if it's alive. I think it was dead already. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
I tried to memorize that, similar to Java and C Sharp, the code itself. So it's um, so I kind of memorized it way back. Then from there, after a couple of years, I already forgot it. But if you
Mm.
put me back and pay me to write code for that, yeah, of course, I will. I can still write code for that because in my mind, I know how to make it work. You know, the process. Yeah, the important thing in programming or in building software is don't memorize every code. Don't memorize every code because if you
You just
memorize every code,
do your research basically,
yeah,
no?
yeah, as long as you know the basics in
Mm.
programming, yeah, you can do that. But you
It's
don't
easy.
have, yeah, you don't have to memorize every line of code. You can't. You just simply can't. You can just memorize on how the structure of a class, a library is.
Mm.
That's fine. But memorizing the whole book,
It's
no. I
it's
think even my
nearing
friends know.
yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
think no
not
one
practical.
is. Yeah, unless you're really like you want to. If you really want to write a book, then I guess yeah, it's time for you to memorize everything, right?
The evolution of the software development, I guess is really interesting now from
Mhm.
different aspect of language. Right now, what do you think is the most um uh what do you think is the most I should say more compatible, or let's say conducive for a user to use, na more updated and more
Uh,
stable?
right now, I think most people are using JavaScript.
Java. Okay.
JavaScript, not Java, because Java is different from JavaScript.
Mm.
Okay, so Java, yeah, Java will never die. It's in your mobile phones, it's in our computers,
It's
it will never die.
everywhere. Mm.
Yeah, Java is everywhere. Also, we have JavaScript. JavaScript, the or we call it Node.js nowadays because Node.js or JavaScript frameworks is quite the thing right now for um, most developers because you can create uh, very fast code in mobile already. We just like
Uh,
say, yeah, you can create that using Node.js without going to Java. Because in Java, you have to write a couple of, if you're going to do it from scratch, you're going to write a couple of classes, libraries,
mm,
unless you don't want to do that, right? Because, right now, people would want a prototype right away at some point.
mm. I see.
Okay. Mhm.
Mm.
So
So,
JavaScript's one of the things.
and I think last topic that I think we can discuss on is before we wrap up, cryptocurrency.
Yeah, what about it?
I totally don't have an idea about it, but I was kind of intrigued about
Uh-huh.
how these things work. But from your take, from your point of view, what's cryptocurrency?
Okay. You have Gcash, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Gcash is fiat currency. Fiat currency is the government's currency of each country. Okay.
Mm.
Cryptocurrency is something opposite of that because it's decentralized and you can transfer money from one person to another around the globe instantly.
In any platforms.
As long as you're in the, you can transfer it. What do you mean by any platforms?
But for
Because we
example,
have,
is it okay? So meaning to say, is cryptocurrency is centralized, and that's the only platform you can transfer to back and forth wherever you are in the world.
it's
Is
like
that
we have what we call blockchain from servers to servers, computers to computers. So it's being what do you call this, verified. The transactions being getting verified from servers
mm,
to servers, nodes to nodes, and that's what blockchain is. I'd say, yeah, at some point.
mm,
And cryptocurrency is the we call this. It's like a digital money.
mm.
Yeah, yeah, digital money that you can send across the globe without being tracked by the government.
Oh, that's cool. Is it
Yeah, that's
so? Do you think it's illegal?
it can be illegal depending on your
What's the
usage.
use for? Okay,
Yeah, depending on
got
your
it.
usage, because way back, I'm pretty sure Bitcoin you can use that without For example, I send money to someone else
Mm,
with Bitcoin. No one can track me unless I give my address. my wallet address. If you give your address, hey, this is my wallet address. You're telling the world that this is you, right?
Ah, I see.
Then they will know that we can track you now because you tell the world that this is your wallet address. But you can
Right,
create
right.
a couple dozen wallet addresses without telling the world. So people, your name won't really appear right there. Okay, this is you don't want to read a couple of random texts, right? The hash thing. You don't want like,
Mm,
you can't really tell if that's you or what unless you really copy it and paste it and tell the world that this is my address.
mm.
The government won't track you unless
You place your
uh,
personal information there.
yes. So you place your personal information on exchanges. You know, exchanges like where you buy cryptocurrency, you trade
Mm,
cryptocurrency. Yeah. So you put your personal information there, and the government will track you based on the rules that the
mm.
exchanges needs to comply with. So yeah, I mean, way back in the dark web, I'm pretty sure you could exchange Bitcoin for illegal stuff. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that happens. There's
And
no one who can track you.
the invest do you do you think this will be like a future investment that people can make use of from your perspective?
Yeah, actually, Bitcoin way back was just below $1.
Oh, okay.
Below $1 when it started. Below is around cents, I guess. Then it went up $1, 20, 100, 1,000, 2,000. Right now, Bitcoin is around 30,000. In the
Wow.
span of at least 10
How
years
many
almost.
years? Like 10, right?
Yeah, wait, let me see. I'm not sure the history of Bitcoin. Bitcoin
Yeah.
started. I'm not sure when Bitcoin started. I forgot. Check. It was created by a random guy. 2009.
Oh, it already existed in 2009. Okay.
Yeah, it started in
Uh,
2009, and there's only a 21 million supply of Bitcoin. Then I think it's gonna couple next years from now, Bitcoin might worth be $1 million at some point.
wow.
Yeah,
That's
depending
good.
on the it's actually a good thing
Yeah.
because right now 1 Bitcoin is a million pesos. I guess.
One
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
1 Bitcoin is 1.6 million pesos. Way
Wow.
back,
Okay.
way back, it's just like what 100K. You can have 1 Bitcoin with 100K before.
Nice. Okay. This is pretty interesting conversation that we can actually, I think, I hope you're gonna be also available sometime because I'm doing I think another version of these type of conversation, but more
Oh,
so
for
like
crypto.
talking about different topics really
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
centralize the topics because I think I wanted to tackle as well in the interest of time just so we can have another version of it if you're
Sure.
available. We can actually talk about ethical hacking, and I know you've heard
Ethical
about it.
hacking. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So it's one of the things that I'm really interested to know, and I think that's a good conversation we're gonna have probably in the next season or the next
Sure.
episode.
Yeah,
So
that'd be great.
that's all for me, and thank you, sir, for
Yeah, no problem, sir.
accepting the invite.
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
Hopefully, when this pandemic is over, we got to bump each other and like have a coffee or
Yeah,
something, and we can talk about
yeah,
it then.
sure, no problem. That'd be great.
So thank you. And I guess that's all for me. Thank you so much, and talk to you soon.
Yes,
Stay
sir.
safe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Stay
Likewise, sir.
safe.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.